Now it is time to look at adding text. And to do that, up along your toolbar up here, which we haven't looked at just yet, text is one of your options here. So if you click on that, it's going to bring up some different things that you can do. One is just called text, and that's kind of a more maybe something that you might have at the beginning of a presentation. There's one called end, and usually this is put at the end if you want to list any credits, like you put together the project or credits for any resources that you used. And then we've got subtitle 1, 2, and something called lower third. So these are all different options that you can use. It really doesn't make any difference to me which ones you want to use. You might want to experiment with them a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just grab this first one here. Now, for adding text, you have a couple of options. One thing that you can do is you can fit them down in between slides. Now, you'll notice how it turns green when I get here. Now, this is a color we haven't seen yet. You can see that it's kind of an orange color. Now, watch what happens when I release my mouse. It wants to know how I want to put this in here. I would suggest always choosing insert and push. So what that does is it's going to put in your text box and it's going to push the other media along your timeline. So here I've got a text box then entered. Now, when I put it here, watch what happens. Actually, let's go ahead and put some text in there first. So to edit the text, you can just double click on it. There we go. And it's going to bring up where you can type in your text. And I'm just going to show you just a few things here. You can change the font from here. There are several different kinds of fonts that you can choose if you want to. You can bold it. You can italicize it, underline, a lot of the same things that you would have in any kind of a word processor. This is where you can change the size if you want to make it larger, and look over to the right in your preview window when you do that, depending on how much text you have. Line height, I haven't really messed with that too much. Spacing. So these are all things that you can play around with. If you click here, this will give you some options for having your text, doing some special effects kinds of things. This fade in, fade out is one that I use a lot. I just click that. You can even go for down a little bit even further and go into edit settings. You've got some other options here. So all of these are just kinds of things that you might want to experiment with. So I'm going to click done editing here. Okay, so now we've got something on there. And I'm just going to back it up a little bit. I'm going to turn down my music a little bit so it's not quite so loud while we're looking at this. Now what you notice is the image played and then the text played. Now, if you wanted your text to go over your image, then what you'll want to do is make use of this other track up here. So your text can also go up here, and you can probably predict what's going to happen here. It's going to play over top of the picture. So let's take a look at it now. So as you're putting together your project, you'll have to make some decisions about, do I want the text to play before? Do I want it to play after? Or do I want it to play over the picture? If you want it to play over the picture, it has to be layered on another track. Now, if you do have the ability to add even more tracks if you had some more layering to do. And to add tracks, it's just this little button right here, the plus sign. And when you click that, it'll say, do you want to add a video track or an audio track? You can even give it a name if you want to. And then just click OK. And now you'll see now we've got 3 here. I'm not planning to need a third, so I'm going to go ahead and just trash that out. Now, the other thing you'll see here is that my picture is not as long as my text. Now, this is where you're going to have to make some other decisions. If your text is going to play over your image, how long is it going to take the viewer to read it? Now, what I have written is extremely short, so I may not want it to be that long. So what I can do, you'll notice when you hover over this, when you're clicked on it, it's orange, and you get these little double-headed arrows. This is where you can trim. So if I bring this over and kind of match it up with my image here, the text is only going to play as long as the image is there. Or maybe I don't want it to appear the whole time. So let's say I wanted to make the picture longer. and maybe I just want it to start playing in the middle. There's a lot of different things that you can do with this. So this is definitely something that you'll want to play around with your text. So I'm going to bring this over here, drag this back over, and maybe I want to try a different one this time. So maybe I want to put this on this one, and we'll click on it, double click to go to edit, go to my text. Boy, that's not good. Boy, try that again. More text. Okay, so you can already see that it's going to look a little bit different. So if you don't have a lot of text and maybe you want to try something a little bit different, you can certainly do that. So again, if you don't want it to play over the picture, you could slide it down and insert it and push it between things. So really up to you. There's a lot of creativity, a lot of options to play around with this. So have fun with the text. Try it a lot of different ways. Also remember to save often as you make changes and make sure you preview what you're doing.